Hey guys, Game for Big Brother 18 episode 2. This of course was the second night of the premiere, but it was different than the other premieres have been, which is why I'm not calling it, season premiere part 2, because this really was just episode 2. In the past it's been we have these house guests moving on this day and then these house guests moving on this day, and that's not what this was. Last night with the 2-hour premiere, we were able to flesh out everyone, we were able to introduce everything, and basically since that was done, this was essentially a Sunday night episode done a Thursday night, which is quite unusual, but I thought it was well done because it gives us time to see more of these house guests, see more what's going on, and just get an extra episode that I really did enjoy, and I really am enjoying the season, I gotta say. I think there were some really great things that happened in tonight's episode, some dumb things as well, but overall, I really am enjoying it. There were a lot of things I really did enjoy. Let's just get into it, and I think the first thing to talk about is how this really seems to be what people wanted Big Brother 13 and Big Brother 14 to be, which is a Newbies versus Vets season. That is exactly what this is, minus a few Vets, pretty much, minus a few Newbies, pretty much everyone is against the Vets right now, and honestly, I really am enjoying that. Now, not everyone, no one really seems to be against Frank or James, but the two main ones are Nicole and Devon. It makes sense. They're power players, they're very good at what they do. James and Frank are kind of laying low right now, but Devon and Nicole, everyone's pretty much after, especially Nicole. She definitely is a target, and that's something that I do like. Now, obviously, I don't want Nicole or Devon to get evicted because I really do like both of them, and I think they're both very good players, but I like that there is a lot of drama going on between the Vets and the Newbies. I think it's just keeping things very interesting. I like that's going on. The problem is who is at the forefront of all of it, and that is none other than Paul, who I really just want, honestly, to leave. Like, I really feel like Paul's going to be one of those house guests that ends up doing something really bad, that ends up getting himself expelled from the house. I feel like he's going to be one of those kind of guys, because he just seems like a loose cannon. He seems like a guy that's going to go off in any second at the smallest of things. And remember Willie from Big Brother 14, who had a huge problem with, like, the coaches entering the game and things like that? He was freaking out that was going to happen. That's what I think Paul's going to be. I think Paul's really going to do something very irrational, and I don't see him lasting very long. Either he's going to get himself kicked out, or someone's going to evict him very soon. I don't see him lasting very long at all. A lot of people are saying he's like a Devin, he's like a Jeremy. That is exactly what I would say. He's totally, especially Devin. He is very much like Devin. He thinks he's ruling this house. He's totally not, and right now, no one's really seeing it because they're just kind of getting along. This is still kind of like the meet and greet, but already there's a lot of things going on. Let's jump into basically this whole idea of, I was really wrong yesterday, guys. I completely was wrong with what's actually happening. Basically, it was not, an eviction tonight, specifically, it was more of an elimination, because this person wasn't, the person that left wasn't just evicted by house guests. They were evicted basically by losing, and basically whoever ended up losing the third round of the competition, I can't remember what the name of it was, but the competition that they played, they basically were the ones that had to leave. But the part I didn't understand, that I was completely wrong with, is that the losing that team, whoever is left, they get to pick who's going to be HOH. So, you got Corey, you got Nicole, you got Glenn, and you have Tiffany. Now, I really thought this was going to be Tiffany's to lose. She really did not seem like she had her head in the game. It really did not seem like she was doing very well, and I didn't think she was going to do really well here, and especially the way they were editing Glenn, it seemed like he was going to be very victorious. Now, I knew Nicole, there's no way that Nicole's going to leave night one. There's absolutely no way that's going to happen. There's no way she's going to leave the first week. I mean, if she was, I'd be really pissed off. And honestly, the way she's playing, this is a much stronger Nicole than I think we ever had in Big Brother 16. And mainly because she had safety nets in Big Brother 16. She had that safety net and shield from Hayden. Now, did she really need it? No, but there's no power players this season either. Like Derek and Frankie and Zach, they made up so much of Big Brother 16 that she really didn't get to do much. But now that they're not here, she gets to do pretty much whatever the hell she wants, and she's much stronger. She's really like Rachel in Big Brother 13. That's something that I really do like, and of course, Rachel won her season, so I really think that Nicole is going to end up being in the same position as Rachel. She'll end up winning. She could end up winning this entire thing. Now, I'm not going to predict who's going to win, but if I had to decide, I mean, I honestly think Nicole has a very good chance of winning. But anyways, let's just jump in the competition, and I know that's what you guys really want me to talk about. So the competition here, I mean, basically it was like the first two, except this one was all on their own. This was not them working as a team. time, they were working one by one. Basically, it was them with these coconuts, and whoever put the coconuts in the right positions first, and they won. And luckily, Nicole was the first one to do so, which I was very happy about because I was really worried that this was going to be Nicole to lead, but I didn't think she was going to. I had that fear, I had that fear. I'm happy that she was able to, finish first. I thought that was awesome to see, and like I said, she did that all on her own. A lot of people can say, oh, she won by default, but really, she did it on her own. Nobody helped her. She did that all on her own. It really does show how strong of a player she's become, and I really think that getting evicted twice has really helped her, and I don't think she's getting evicted a third time. Honestly, I don't think she's going to walk out the door. I think she's going to be here till the end. Just the way this is going, I really could see that happening. I know it's very early to predict, but remember, people like Rachel won HOH like almost every single week, and Nicole, I feel like, is going to be in that same position. We'll get into that, though. But then, we see Tiffany. It's down to Tiffany, Glenn, and Corey. Corey, I knew was going to do fine. Corey, I'm actually really liking. I think he's doing really well. I could kind of see something happening between him and Nicole. I know she said that she's not really going to be focused on guys this season, but just the way that Corey is around her, I think he's going to probably develop a bit of a crush on her. Just the way that he allies with her, I just feel like that's going to happen. I feel like it's going to happen, definitely. And then it's down to Tiffany and Glenn. Really was just neck and neck between these two. I honestly didn't know. Like, a lot of people were saying Glenn, but I'm like, I don't know. Maybe Glenn's going to surprise us. Then I'm like, okay, maybe it's going to be Tiffany. But then I thought, a lot of people were saying there's no way they're going to have Vanessa's sister leave on the first night. And yeah, no, they're not going to do that. Long story short, Glenn does end up leaving. And honestly, I'm not surprised. Like I said, I just don't really think this was the show for him. If you guys saw, go on The Sopranos. Glenn, go on. If they ever reboot The Sopranos, Glenn should totally play Tony Soprano. That is who Glenn should be. Tony Soprano, that's Glenn. Or if they ever remake Daredevil, he should totally be Wilson Fisk. Not saying they should remake these shows because it would fucking suck, but if Glenn ever had a show to be on, it should be one of those two shows. Any kind of gangster show, something like that, that's totally for Glenn. Big Brother, it's just not. It's not for him. He's not, the right person for it. He seems like a really cool guy, but he's just not for this. And when I see Glenn, I don't see Big Brother. I see gangster on like a street. That's what I see. I see like a New Jersey gangster and like a gangster crime show. That's what I see. Animal Kingdom. He should even go on Animal Kingdom because that show is very much like gangsters and things like that. Go on there. That's totally his show. Just not Big Brother. Anything but Big Brother. He does not belong there. And, really, that's just not him. If anything, he should bond with the guy that was on America's Got Talent, that Sal guy, because he seems like those two could be really close, and anything he should have gone on there rather than Big Brother, because this just show, like I said, I just don't really think it was for him. But either way, no one should really have to go like this. I really did feel bad for Glenn. No one should have to leave in the way he did. Definitely, it was very sad to see. Yeah, it was sad. I expected it, but it still was sad. He really was playing for his daughter. He really was trying hard, and I wanted him to do well. I definitely did. Unfortunately, he did end up doing well, but he did end up leaving, which is quite sad, and that's the end for Glenn. And at least Paul did say that it's sad that Glenn left. Now, let me just say the main reason that Paul wanted Glenn to win was because he knew that Glenn would go after the vets and that he could easily coax him into it, but that's not the reason why Glenn couldn't be on here. I feel like he was too weak, honestly. I think Glenn, was able, this was someone that you'd be able to coax into things. He was like a Donnie. He basically did whatever he was told. Not saying that Donnie wasn't loyal, because Donnie definitely was loyal, but he also was very weak, mainly because he was just a nice guy, and Glenn seemed the same way. Now, Glenn also seemed like someone that could kick your ass, but you can't do that on Big Brother, so I really don't think, like I said, again, it's a perfect example why Glenn shouldn't be on the show. I could literally make a whole video about why people like Glenn should never be on Big Brother. I'm not gonna do that, unless you guys want me to, but I literally could structure a whole video around why people like Glenn shouldn't be on Big Brother, because really, he just does not belong in this show. But basically, Glenn ends up leaving, then it's time to choose a head of household. Now, this was the part that I really didn't know what was going to happen. I thought, okay, Nicole is, a vet, and she's won HOH so many times, but does she really want to put that target on her back? Does she really want to get the blood in her hands? Does she want to lay low? But then I thought, this is a lot more confident in Nicole. It seems like she's kind of playing, some people said she's playing like Derek, and in many ways, yeah, she is kind of playing like Derek, in the way that Derek always won things. He laid low, but he did win things when he could, and Nicole basically makes them give her, not make makes them, but basically they want her to get the HOH. They think it's the best thing to do. I thought that Corey was going to get it. I thought that's what was going to happen, that she was going to have Corey get it, or Tiffany I thought really didn't have a chance, but Corey I thought was going to be the one to give it. Corey tells her that he wants her to be HOH, and he says, look, you want to be HOH, right? And I like the way that she played this, because she didn't want to make it seem like she wanted the HOH to not come across as desperate and not come across as anti-newbie, because I do think she wants to ally with her team, because her teammates, they seem to be supporting her. It does not seem like Tiffany or Corey are straying to Paul's fake alliance, because really it's not much of an alliance. It's just Paul thinking he has an alliance and he really doesn't have an alliance, and Corey especially is definitely not in said alliance. But basically they end up handing over the position to Nicole. Nicole is now HOH. I was very happy with that, because vets are in power, and there's a lot of really great stuff that comes out of here for Nicole's HOH, because really this is hard to do. When you're the first HOH, it is hard to pick a player, especially when you have vets and you know you want to target them, but you also don't want to seem like you're just allying with the vets and so anti-newbie. You don't want to seem that way. You want to seem like you can target the vets. So I was wondering, is she possibly going to put up, Frank or James or something like that as a pawn? Now, Frank has been nominated basically every week he's been on this show in Big Brother 14, if you guys remember. Every week it seemed like Frank would get nominated unless he won HOH. He basically was nominated till he left, and I think that's one of the reasons why Frank ended up leaving. But I've also said that Frank is laying very low. Frank is probably the one person, I haven't seen a single clip of Frank, honestly. I've seen him in the diary room a couple times, but other than that, it does not seem like Frank is someone that's focused on strategy at all, and it makes sense. He's trying to lay very low, and he even said he's trying to do things a lot differently than he did last season. That's something that I really do appreciate. I like that he is laying low, but I like the way Nicole is playing as well, and it seems like she's very much allied with Devon, which is something I do really like. Devon's not all allied with her team, but Nicole really is in this tough position. She doesn't really know who to pick, who to go after, and she does kind of have some ideas, though. She's thinking Paulie, because, he's experienced, and he's Cody, he's knowing, Cody and everything. He's not experienced, but his brother's experienced, and he knows a lot of what to expect in the house, and she's saying that Paulie could be a good pawn. So I'm thinking that Paulie's going to be the Johnny Mac of the season, where Paulie's going to be the one that's the pawn to win the veto. That's going to be who he is, and there's no Battle of the Block this season. There is a new competition coming that we don't know about, but I feel like Paulie, that's going to be his position. Is Paulie at all like Johnny Mac? No, honestly, I'm not saying that Paulie's at all like Johnny Mac. What I'm saying is that I think he's going to be in the same position that Johnny Mac was last season, that he's going to be the one to be a pawn. He's going to have to win the veto, and unless he wins that veto, I think he could honestly be a target, because one, people know he's Cody's brother, and two, he's very athletic and very good at physical competitions. Anyone that's a physical threat is an automatic threat in my book, and really is just, that's a perfect reason to send someone out the door, because maybe they don't have the same body type as you, and you're threatened by their physicality and things like that. That's totally reason to send someone out the door. Definitely, I think that's a great reason to do that, and I think Paulie is a threat just from that. And not saying that Paulie's not a nice guy, because he seems like a nice guy. Is he smart? I don't know. I don't know if he's really smart right now. I don't really think he's as smart as Cody. Not to say that Cody was that smart, because he really wasn't, especially, doing what he did in the final two, pretty much killed his entire game, but, I like what we're seeing of him so far, but basically then it comes down to who to put up against him, because that's something that she really doesn't know what to do. And here's the thing, a lot of people are saying, okay, we should just get rid of Paul. And, I was talking to my mom. My mom was texting me during it, because my mom watches it, and she was texting me during the show. She said that they should get out Paul. There's even a hashtag on Twitter that says shut up Paul. It's the funniest thing ever, but literally, there's a hashtag that says shut up Paul, because really, when he talks, just sit down, check yourself, you need to do that, but Paul really, that seemed like the one that was going to go. The problem is that Paul is not really a target right now. Paul hasn't really done anything except talk game. He's only talked behind people's backs. He hasn't made himself a target. No one really is seeing what Paul is doing. Now, Devon, yes, she does know how Paul is, but she has no idea how anti-vet he is. She had no idea about that, because obviously he's on her team, and he has to be somewhat respectful, which he's really not being at all, but she has no idea how much he's against Nicole right now. He has no idea about that. Jose, on the other hand, which is not Josiah, I have no idea why I said Josiah, probably because there's a teacher in my school has a son named Josiah, and I just assumed that his name was Josiah. It's actually Jose, which isn't too far off, because Jose thinks he's the Messiah. You're definitely not the Messiah. You ain't shit. You need to sit down. Jose, though, in my opinion, I really am not enjoying him. I mean, and he's also not very smart here because he literally ends up basically blowing up his entire plan to Devon. And the way he does this, why would you do this, first of all? Nicole is a vet. Why would you do this? He reveals that they want Nicole gone, that Nicole is someone they want to get rid of, and that they've wanted to get Nicole out. And Devon obviously goes right to Nicole about this, which I really am liking the bond there. It's very reminiscent of Jordan and Rachel in Big Brother 13, which is probably one of my favorite things about Big Brother 13, because even to this day, those four remain very good friends. Jeff, Jordan, Brendan, Rachel, they're still very good friends to this day, and that's one of the best parts of Big Brother 13, and very reminiscent is Nicole and Devon. I like this friendship they create. I hope it lasts, and it seems like those two, there's really not going to be any beef between them, because they've both played this game before, they both know what they have to face, and they both survived a lot of shit, and, they both are willing to go through some shit together, and I like seeing that. I think I like that bond overall, and I like that those two are really good friends. But basically what ends up happening is we see she comes in, tells, Nicole about the threats that Jose is and how they can't trust Jose and everything. And then Victor comes in. What the hell, Victor? I mean, Victor, I know that you want Natalie, which, by the way, Natalie was not in this episode. Like, where was she? She was not there. Michelle wasn't there either. Like, half of the characters last night wasn't even there. And I'm very happy they did a 2-hour premiere, because this is what happens. You have characters, and then they do nothing in the show. Someone who is doing something that I'm surprised is Bridget. Bridget's actually doing a lot more than I thought she would. I thought she'd be a floater, but she's really not. It is kind of questionable where her loyalties lie at this point, because there's a part of me is saying, oh, maybe she's with the vets, but then there's a part of me saying, oh, she's definitely with the newbies. So I don't really know at this point. But basically, Victor literally tells Nicole who to put up. I don't remember who it was, but he literally tries to hide his stupidity by taking off his shirts, and it doesn't fool her at all. She can tell how stupid he is. She can tell that he's being an idiot, and Victor, I mean, you might be good at playing physical comps, but you don't really seem that smart, and probably the highlight of this episode was James going in, pretending to be Victor, while Nicole was in the shower, and pretending to apologize as Victor, when really was James all along. That is just classic James. That is James. That is why James is one of the most entertaining parts of this entire season, and that is why James can't get evicted till much later, because as long as James is there, it's going to be fun, and you can tell that James is trying to play a fun game, and I really like that. James knows that he's not the most physical, he's not the smartest, and he's really just trying to have some fun. I like that he's having some fun. I like that he's really just using this as a vacation, and that's fine. He's played the game. He's survived what he can. Right now, he's not in power. For the first few weeks, it's good to just sit back and have fun. That's something I think that James did really well. The problem was he never really got his moment last season. The only thing he did last season, I really think that's big, was getting out Shelly. That's really the only big thing he did. This season, I think he can do something big, but right now, I like these laying low. I kind of like that, again, the bond he has with Nicole. I like that that's going on. Frank seems like he's totally out of this bond, just does not really seem like he's there right now, but Nicole basically realizes what she has to do. Then we get to the nominations. So we go to the nomination ceremony, which is the first nomination ceremony of the, of the season, and it does feel very weird that it's a Thursday and we're already talking about nominations, but it also makes sense. There's going to be a new competition Sunday. There are definitely a lot of things to show, but basically Nicole ends up putting up Jose, and she ends up putting up Paulie. Those two are against each other, and Jose is basically the main target. But here's what I'm thinking. This does not necessarily mean that Paul is safe, because I'm thinking if they keep hearing about what Paul is doing, and they keep hearing about all this information, and someone goes to them, especially Corey, if he keeps hearing what Paul is doing, he's going to feed that information to Nicole. They're going to want to get out Paul, because Paul wants to get out Nicole, and if Paul ever wins HOH, the vets are in big trouble. He's going to put up two vets against each other, the vets going to go home, and they're going to make sure that they need to stick together. There's only 4 of them, and right now they're very strong, but if a newbie ends up winning, like say Paul, say Zakia, or say Jose doesn't go home, Jose, one of those could be in power, they'll definitely end up getting out of vet, and they're going to make sure that one of them goes home. But Paulie has talked about how pawns do go home, and he's kind of worried about that. Hopefully, Paulie can win the veto, because I really don't want him to go home over someone like Jose. Not saying that Paulie's a great player or anything, it's just out of all of them, Jose really needs to go home. Jose needs to go, Paul needs to go, Zakia needs to go. I do not like those 3 at all. Something about him I just don't really enjoy. I think it's just how anti-vet they really are. It's fine to be vocal, but just having everything around the vets and not even want to ally with them, because to them it seems like it's not even a possibility to ally with the vets. Like, they don't want to ally with them, and they're in the house. You're going to have to ally with them at some point. I don't think Paul realizes that eventually it's not just going to be no vets. You're not just going to be able to get vets out one by one. That's not how it's going to work. In fact, Big Brother 13, it seemed like every single week it was newbie. They were just all, they just picked them off one by one. Now, eventually, you know, Danielle Donato ruined that entire thing, which is probably one of the best twists of that season, is when Danielle ended up betraying all of them. But, you know, that's what ended up having Big Brother 13 here, and the only reason I'm comparing them is because basically you kind of have to compare them because this is a vet season, and 13 and 14 were also vet seasons, but, you know, this season seems to be way different. It seems like it's very much vets versus newbies. I like the way that that's going. So basically it's now Jose versus Paulie. Paulie's gonna try to win Veto. I hope that wins well in his favor, but we're not gonna see that till Wednesday, because Sunday we have a whole new competition going on. Now, what this competition is, I don't know. Alison Grodner's been very hush-hush about it. I like that it's not Battle of the Block. First of all, there's no way you could do Battle of the Block this year. You have teams. There's no possible way you can do it. You just, you know, you just can't do it. It's not possible to do in this situation that we're in, especially with the teams and everything. There's no possible way that we can do Battle of the Block. It just can't really happen. So I like that that's not happening. Two, I also like it because it makes things unexpected. And of course, expect the unexpected, yes, but really, this hasn't been a very unpredictable show as of late. And this season really does seem like they're trying to change up dynamics. They're trying to do things differently, and I really do appreciate that. And this season so far, I'm really enjoying. I think some of the characters really do need to step up a bit. I understand it's very vets right now because obviously the vets are in power, but when the newbies get in power, they definitely need to step up, and I do really want to see some conflict there. I do like what's going on there, don't get me wrong. I do like the newbie versus vets conflict. I just don't like that Paul's the forefront of it all. You know, if Paul could leave, then I'll be happy, because then I feel like they'll be better without Paul, and even Jose, I feel like would maybe calm down a bit if Paul's gone. But overall, guys, most guys thought this episode. Love to your thoughts on it. I overall really am enjoying this season overall. Like I said, this did feel like an extra episode, but I still really did enjoy it. I thought it was very well done. It was a bit weird for it to be Thursday and not to see Julie. I don't think that's ever happened before, where we have a Thursday episode and Julie's not there. The other thing you guys are wondering is what happens from here. Well, basically what I did, you know, for 16 and 17, I will review the show on Thursdays because I just feel there's more to talk about. There's more that happened. I can review the week, and I'd rather review the week than just review every single episode. There are other shows I'd rather watch that are on after it, so I think it's just easier for me to do that. So every Thursday, that's when I'll review Big Brother. Unless there's a double elimination or unless there's a huge twist, then I will, you know, make an exception. But as you guys know, that's what I usually do. So if you guys are just wondering, that is what I'm going to do, is on, you know, Thursdays, every Thursday after the show. Definitely look forward to my reviews. But let me know what you guys saw of this episode. Love to your thoughts on it, what you think of this season so far, and I will see you guys in my next video. By the way, what is up with the intro this year? Like, there's like 3 title screens before we get to the cast. It was so weird. There was like a, you know, leaving home, that thing. I get that the theme of the season is travel. I get that, but it just feels kind of strange the way they did that. I haven't seen them do that before, but I will see you guys. But either way, I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for the series premiere of Queen of the South, which I cannot wait for, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.